Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Real Life Podcast. I am your host, Dale Santrum, and I'm here with Katie Jones, my amazing co-host.
Well, hello, friends.
It's good to be here, Katie. Here we go.
Yes.
It's always good that you guys are joining us. Thanks for tuning in again. And so, Katie, how are you today?
I am fabulous. Any day that we get to talk about some fun stuff and hear from you guys, it's a good day.
Yes. Well, I heard that you are going to show me some fun things today. I'm a little nervous about it because
you guys are going to love this.
Because she does this because she wants the shock value, I guess. So
hey, you know what? That's good PR.
That's good PR.
We gotta have, yeah.
All right. So to see what my reaction is to something that I know nothing about.
That's right.
That's
Surprises.
right. Okay.
Surprises galore. So
yes.
Hang tight.
Yeah. So other than that, before we jump into there, but Katie, what's going on?
I've been married 9 days.
9 days.
My second husband.
It's so good. It feels like 9 days.
That's right.
It's just been so wonderful.
9 years today.
9 years.
Yep.
Oh,
So
well, congratulations.
Congratulations to my husband for hanging out with this weirdo for
Way
9
to go,
plus
Jared.
years.
Woo. Here's a shout out to Jared. Good job, buddy.
Yep, he's pretty great. But yeah, 9 years today.
Okay,
so
that's
it's
very
a good
cool.
day. Yep, spending my anniversary with you guys. You're welcome.
Well, yeah, I noticed that. Sure.
Hey, we're actually coming up on like this anniversary.
We have
I
one?
think it's been 2 years.
No.
Okay, let me come back
Really?
and check on that.
We're going to check on that.
Yeah, we'll check on that. But
Because
I
if
think
we have
we
an
started in
anniversary-
July.
If we have an anniversary date, then the world should celebrate with us.
I agree.
Don't you think?
We definitely. Well, listen, we've been trying to rack our brains around. We're getting close to 1,000 followers on Instagram for Foothills, and we were trying to. You guys got to help us. What should the pastors do when we hit 1,000?
Oh boy.
Does someone need to shave their head?
No.
Do we need to do cream pies to the face? What are we doing?
No, my head has too many bumps in it.
But listen,
Rough childhood. You don't want me to shave this thing.
that explains a lot.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
But I'll just throw this in here now. You guys can help us grow the Real Life Podcast, and we need your help. We are on the journey to 1,000. That's the first step.
Help us.
We only got 600 more to go, but
yeah.
hey, that's if each of you brought. Okay, hold on. Let me do my math here. 2 friends. 300 times 2?
Easy, come on.
Yeah, come on now. Put us in your group chat.
Yeah.
Or tell us how to earn it, because we will. We are ready to rock and roll. This is a movement all about following Jesus in real life, talking about all the stuff that you don't get to talk about in Sunday school. So that's what we're here for.
Not suitable for church conversations.
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Well, with that intro, I got some fun stuff for you to respond to.
What are you showing me?
Okay, this goes along. So we have a new series here at Foothills that PD is preaching on called Wise Up. And the last week was all about being a learner. And you mentioned bringing in a new skill.
Oh, boy.
So I have 2 different videos to share, and I would love to get your response. Okay?
Okay.
So the first skill, I'm like, maybe I could learn this.
All right.
You ready for this?
Okay, bring it
on.
on.
All right, here we go.
What am I watching?
It's called Hobby Horse.
The Hobby Horse Championships in Finland. Over 400 riders and more than 2,500 spectators showed up to see who's got it and who doesn't. But it comes with some rather dark side effects. Many of the girls, who are between 10 and 18 years old, have experienced bullying for their love of the sport. The championship's winner jumped an impressive 1.41 meters and celebrated by having some chips and Coca-Cola. This is
legit?
Yes.
This is a real thing?
Hobby Horse.
Okay.
Have you guys heard about this?
No, so they just watched that too, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Not to be
Yes.
judgmental.
Use the Holy Spirit, PD.
So I can appreciate their athletic skill. One girl had some serious
some
leaps
high
there.
jumping.
Oh yeah,
Serious
they
leaping.
were
Leaping
jumping
lizards.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So she grabbed some serious air while riding a stick.
She did.
Okay.
That's
so
impressive.
way to go, you. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Katie, I don't have a lot to say with that whole thing.
You guys let us know what you think of hobby horsing, okay?
Hobby horsing.
Here, you know what? if you're getting exercise, I'm all for it. If it brings you that much joy, it's not hurting anybody.
Oh yeah.
And
what the
you
heck?
are, leaping, you're frolicking, you're galloping,
You're moving.
whatever we
That's
want to
healthy.
call it. Yep.
What country was this?
Trotting. That was Finland, but it's definitely in America.
They do this in
Would I let my girls do it?
yeah.
Maybe in
Finland.
the comfort of our home and
Finland.
yard, but I don't
Okay.
know if I'd be a spectator.
I've
I
never-
don't know.
I haven't been to Finland yet.
You guys might have to add that onto you and Lisa.
That might demotivate me a little bit.
You need to show that to Lisa and tell her you want to.
I think she'll look at it like I did, just with this blank look, like, what are they doing?
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
But no judgment. If you like to do that,
hobby horsing.
hobby horsing, more power to you. Go grab some air. Don't get hurt.
Okay, this next one, and then we'll get into your guys' questions. But I could not, while we're talking about new skills and learning, and we've talked about masculinity here on the Real
Yes,
Life
we
podcast.
have.
And what's it like to be a real man? Let's pull this one up, and you tell me what you think on this one. Okay? Go ahead and hit play on there. There you go.
My soul and I cried.
It's a men's retreat.
Took a cup, fill it up with you, with all the joy and the sorrow and the fear.
This is
Oh, I let myself
really
cry.
cool on so many levels.
Oh, I
Emotions out, learning how to cry again, to comfort
oh,
each
boy.
other. What do we think about this? It's a $10,000
$10,000
masculinity
to
retreat
be
is
in
what
a
it's called.
pool and cry
Held
together.
by other men.
Oh, Katie.
And these are straight men. Okay, I'll just throw that out there. But they're learning to
This
get in
is-
touch with their emotions. What do we think about this, PJ?
What country is this from?
America, for sure. This is 1,000% America.
Yeah.
Look at the discomfort on his
There's
face.
a lot of
Isn't this-
discomfort with those images, okay? It's making me uncomfortable.
And they probably would tell you that's because you're not in touch with your emotions.
Oh, I have a lot of emotions right now going on. I'm very in touch with them.
This was such a treat to show you.
Oh, such a treat.
I've been giddy thinking about this all morning and thinking of your response.
Oh.
How sad though is it that you know what? There's a dichotomy here where yes, I completely understand there's this fine balance of like teaching your boys to be strong, but also like it's okay to have emotions. But this
Well, of course
just,
dudes have emotions.
just-
I got them right now.
this just feels real extra. Or am I being too judgmental?
You're being spot on. I mean, I think it's oh wow. Yeah. Do
Let
guys
loose.
need places to talk about what's going on internally? Absolutely. But what's the whole point? What's the whole point of being in the water, in a pool, with other dudes touching you for crying out loud? That's creepy,
And you
weird,
pay
man.
for it,
And you're paying
$10,000?
$10,000 to be with
Maybe it's marketed as
To wear a-
breakthrough.
to wear a Speedo in a pool with a
now
bunch of
that
other
was
dudes.
their choice. for
Yeah, I
sure.
don't care. It's just like, then you're all crowd surfing that one guy was doing there at the pool.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that sounds highly judgmental, but I think that it just felt feminine.
Felt feminine.
I just felt feminine to me. I'm sorry. Dudes aren't girls. We have feelings, but we deal with them. We should. Different context, man.
What do you
Oh,
now this
jeez.
is funny, but let's speak to the need here. Okay, there's dudes out
Woo,
there
okay.
that maybe are like
Put
there's
my serious hat back on.
obviously there's something missing in today's masculine culture if men are feeling the need to spend $10,000 on a retreat that involves that. What do you think is the solution? What do you think?
Well, I think our
what
cul-
are men looking for
I
right
think
now?
our culture is just messed up in how we deal with masculinity. I think that we don't understand it from a biblical perspective. And so when you get off course from God's design, you're going to get these alternative things that are just going to be weird. Okay, so I think there's a lot of frustration out there with men because I think we don't have a good definition of masculinity. I think guys don't have platforms to deal with masculinity or ask questions or feel. I think there's this huge pressure to try to make men act more like women. I think that there is a general belief that women understand relationships and men don't understand relationships, which is entirely wrong. We just do relationships different than women. All right? So it doesn't mean we don't understand relationships. It's just different.
Yeah.
So, but there's not
Absolutely.
an understanding of that, I think, in our culture. And so I think that men are just browbeat all the time.
Yeah.
They're browbeat by our culture, by the media, by the expectations. And so that alone, I think, creates emotions in men that maybe guys didn't have 50 years ago because you were allowed to be a man. And that doesn't justify any bad behavior from men. That's not what I mean.
Yep.
It just means that our culture is so weird
I would
when it comes to
go
masculinity.
as far to say that men are one of, at least in America, one of the most attacked. I don't even know what you want to. I mean, gender.
Especially
if you're a
white
white
Christian
male.
man.
Jinx, yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure, because there's so many things where it's just like you can't have an opinion on that. You know, you see all the no uterus, no opinion. It's like, well, women are allowed to vote when it comes to wars, but men are being drafted at 18. That's like telling women you can't vote on this. It's we're so we're just very attacking of all things man these days. So,
No, it's true.
maybe that's
So
where a lot of these tears are coming from.
Well, maybe. Let's give the benefit of the doubt. All right. I do think that there are different pressures on men in today's culture than there were 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Right.
It is different. And because there is such an attack on masculinity, so yes, I think that maybe men have a lot of emotions that maybe are unique to this time period that need to be talked about somewhere. I think that's where churches should be leaning into some of this stuff. We need to be having conversations about masculinity. We need to be talking about what does that look like? What does it mean to embrace a biblical model of masculinity? And I know some people hear that and they go, "Oh, that's toxic masculinity." Absolutely not. I mean, it's not.
No one wants to talk about toxic femininity either.
Oh.
That they just don't want to. There's toxic to everything.
There's toxic people.
Right.
They're people.
Well
People
said.
are
Yes.
broken, and they're
Yep.
just so. Set both of those aside. Again, what was God's design? What was God's intent? What was God? So part of this, the Real Life podcast, is learning how to follow Jesus in real life, and there's challenges to do that in our culture today. And so, I think it's a challenge for both genders. Because there's voices influencing both genders that are wrong. They're lies. They're alternatives to what God has designed. And so so you end up with a bunch of guys wearing Speedos crying together in a pool. What the heck? Okay? I'm like, well, that's what culture's done to us. All right?
So as far as solution-wise, it's something I'm curious about if you've seen dwindling over the years or if it's always been a problem. One thing I think that and I'm on the outside, obviously I'm not a man, but I think mentoring is so special for men because a lot of men grew up without a dad but there's almost like a pride thing asking for help from someone who's down the road. But I feel like that's women as well, but like men in particular, like a mentor can do so much for a man. Do you feel like it's dwindled over years where it's like it's harder for men to reach out and ask for that nowadays? Or do you feel like it's always been a pride thing? What do you think on that?
I think it's difficult to go outside of yourself and find, mentors. I think it's easier to find a mentor maybe in the professional world. That just seems normal and it's everywhere. But to go find a mentor so that you can understand masculinity, understand your role as a husband, I think it's different. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different. And where do you find that? How do you know another man or an older man well enough you want to emulate certain pieces and parts of their life? It's not like you want to be like them, but you want to emulate certain qualities or characteristics that they have. And where do people find platforms for that? Mm-hmm. So I think the platforms are few and far to come by. I think that why churches can, I think about leading into this, and what does that look like, and how do you provide mentorships, and how do you create opportunities for it? How do you create the awareness? How do you create get rid of the stigma of seeking help? It's just difficult to seek help. I'm not gonna. Are women better at it than men? I don't know. I'm not a woman. I can't answer that question. I know that men do struggle with it, but is it a man thing, or is it does humanity struggle with it?
Yeah.
Because we all have a level of pride, or we don't want to admit weakness or insufficiency, or
There's something to be said, because just as a 30-year-old woman, I feel like there's countless friends of mine where they are spiritually leading their families. There's almost like a drought of and they might be a great husband, great dad, but they're just not there spiritually. But they're
Right.
there in all the other areas. But the women that I know, I can count a bunch right now off the top of my head where I'm like, oh, yep, they're the ones really taking the
Sure.
initiative to pray with the kids, to read the Bible. What do you think it's going to take for that shift? Because men are so important in a society, and the spiritually leading. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, you need to wait for the man to spiritually lead, because I think that's almost like you saying like, oh, I'm not being fed. Like, you're not a baby if you're a woman. You can still spiritually lead yourself.
You make some choices.
Yes,
Absolutely.
But when it comes to the family, I completely understand women wanting the man that's spiritually leading. But what does that look like? Why do you think there's a drought in this?
I don't think there's a silver bullet to fix this, but at the same time, I think there are some reasons, there are some causes. I think that we have so many single parent families.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, again, and if you're a single parent out there and you're a mom and you're raising boys, you're doing an amazing job. It's hard. I have the utmost respect for what you're doing, and God will help you. He will empower you. I mean, all those things. So please, don't think there's any criticism here, because there's not. Because there are some amazing men today who were influenced and raised by their moms. Okay,
Yep.
So that being said, I just think that there's far too many boys out there being raised by moms, and there is, even though you're doing an amazing job, you cannot 100% be a substitute for what a father is supposed to instill in kids, and in especially sons.
Absolutely.
You just can't.
Yeah.
You weren't designed for it. You weren't called by God to do it, but you're forced into it because you're a single parent. I get it. And he'll give you the grace for that. But at the same time, unless those boys have some kind of a male role model, they don't have one then. And so since they don't have a male role model, they haven't seen spiritual leadership, they haven't seen godly masculinity, they haven't seen that, then they're not going to magically be able to do that once they reach adulthood. They will not know how. They will not know how to lead. They will not know how to be strong. They will not know how just magically they're going to know how to do these things. They don't. And so they don't know how to process their emotions. They retreat from their spouses. They're emotionally unavailable. I can just keep going, because I see it over and over and over in men. And often when you see that, they were raised by their moms, or they had fathers who were modeling those characteristics. They were emotionally unavailable. They retreated from their families. So they're simply reproducing what they've seen. So that's part of the problem. There's no quick fix to it. I think that we need to lean into our families. Men who are married need to learn what it looks like to lead, to be strong, to be providers, to be protectors, to be, there are roles that you have as a man that our society is going to tell you, well, that's not your role. It is your role. And it looks like this. And you need to step into it, and you need to embrace it, because God calls you into that role. He will bless you in it, even if you're learning it for the first time. So I don't know, Katie, I don't think they're going to get that in our culture. I think the churches need to step up and step into some of these things. This is what it looks like. These are roles. These are how you can lead your family. This is what spiritual leadership looks like. This is what being emotionally available to your family looks like. All right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it's got to be a conscious effort to break chains of generational
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Yeah, we
and-
talk about that. Generational curses, generational behaviors, generational.
Yep,
And we all have it. We all have.
for sure.
You know, no
Absolutely.
parent's perfect, and so.
Yeah.
But these are big issues. I mean, there is just no doubt, and I think there are a lot of going back to men probably have a lot of emotions that they're trying to deal with. So where do they go? They've got to go get some help outside of themselves. You just can't keep taking counsel from yourself. Men, you can't keep taking counsel from yourself. As we're going through the Wise Up series, wise people listen to others. Wise people seek knowledge. Wise people listen to counsel. Wise people go beyond themselves to acquire wisdom. Wisdom isn't knowledge. It is the proper application of knowledge in the unique circumstance you find yourself in. That's wisdom. There are a lot of really smart, dumb people, okay, out there because they don't have wisdom. So, all right, kind of went off
That's
on
good
that,
stuff.
didn't I?
No, that was good. I mean, it went perfectly. So
Oh, okay.
it's a smooth transition into
But-
this question.
But listen, there are, going back to the video, Katie, there are some things I can't unsee.
You're welcome.
Okay, and now that's in my head. So, you really.
We'll pray for them. Pray
Please.
for those men. Okay, well, this one goes along with what we're talking about already,
Yeah.
but a little bit of a different route. Hey, Pastor Dale, I'm curious what your views are on Christian dating, particularly.
Hey, by the way, whoever you are, thanks.
Yes, yeah. Hello to you too, even though you
Hey.
didn't say hi to Katie. Hello. I won't hold it against you. Particularly between different denominations. To be completely honest, I have only a shallow understanding of what the denominations are, as I have grown up at Foothills and the teachings here have always aligned with my understanding of Scripture and didn't feel any need to research other church beliefs. That being said, my girlfriend attends an Adventist church, and when I came with her recently, I noticed some differences. Ultimately, I know most of the denominations agree on the teachings of the Bible and how we are saved, but outside of that, I have no idea. I am curious how or if someone should approach these differences while looking for a spouse and what we really can or can't find a middle ground on. Great question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Great question.
Yeah, so you're wise in asking the question and trying to understand, how much of a big deal is this? I mean, you're looking towards marriage. You're looking to find a spouse. Are these spiritual differences a big deal? So let me say, yes, they are. They are a big deal. They can be a huge point of contention and disagreement in a marriage. And so it's good that you should be getting these things on the table now in, this stage of your relationship. You should notice the differences, not in a, criticism or anything, but there are differences and you need to find out, is there room for compromise, and what does that look like in your marriage? So when it comes to denominations, there's tens of thousands of them. And so it's not like we can sit here in a podcast and go through different denominations and explain to you their uniquenesses. As you said in your question, which was a great question, by the way, basically all these different denominations, we believe core tenets of our faith. We're going to believe certain things about God and the Godhead, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. We're going to believe certain things about the Trinity. We're going to believe certain things about salvation that we all agree on. Jesus is coming back, second coming. We believe that the Bible is the authority of God's word. I mean, it is our final authority. I mean, so you're going to see a lot of unity with, even though we have all these different denominations, it usually comes down to what I am going to call, now other denominations may not call them minor things, I'm going to call them minor things. So you went to an Adventist church, so you went to church on Saturday. Well, that alone is, you went to I'm assuming it's Seventh-day Adventist. You said Adventist, but it's Seventh-day Adventist. And I got friends that are Seventh-day Adventists, and they're wonderful people, and again, great churches and whatnot. But there are some very distinct differences from Foothills and Adventists. And so you need to understand that. And of course, the most obvious one is they go to church on Saturday. They look at the Sabbath. The Old Testament command of the Sabbath translates into the New Testament, and we don't see that. we would disagree on that point, we're going to agree with Paul. We're going to use that as a passage where he says some people look at one day as more holy than the other, and other people look at every day as the same. Have your own conviction, and so forth. And so we don't see the command to worship on Saturday, the seventh day, as a carryover from the Old Testament into the New Testament. And they do. Okay, so there you go. So that might be something to who you're dating. That might be a hill they're going to die on. So this is the thing. You got different spiritual cultures, and so what you're going to have to find some common ground. You're going to have to find who's willing to move, and if you're going to be a Seventh-day Adventist, then you're going to go to church Saturday the rest of your life, and that's just how they do things. Okay, so that's one of the uniqueness of them. There's some others, but you can have those conversations. I mean, they're going to do church a little bit different than we will. But also, that being said, I have friends that are Seventh-day Adventists. In fact, several times a few years ago, I was actually invited by one of the leaders of the whole West Coast to speak at some Seventh-day Adventist conferences because they recognized our unique ministry at Foothills. And I was actually invited to a place there at their conference center right off of Oak Grove in Oregon City, Gladstone. And then they flew me up to Spokane, and I spoke at another conference at Spokane. And those were Seventh-day Adventist people. And we had a great time.
Yeah.
So.
And we've talked on previous episodes because people have kind of asked, like, okay, what are the hills we die on? And we've had episodes where it's like, okay, there are some core things to where it's like, these are kind of non-negotiables. But it's kind of, it's a good thing, and it can be a sad thing that we're you said 10,000, thousands of different.
Tens of thousands, yeah.
Because we've gotten so divided somewhere along the line on some issue that maybe was a minor issue. Yeah. But to others, it's a huge issue.
Yeah.
So that's a hard one.
They're going to be very into diet and health, which, Katie and I love that.
Yeah.
They're going to be really into the food that you eat. And now, granted, they can have some dietary restrictions. And for our culture, that may feel like rules to you. And so, because they may tell you, well, you can't eat this, and you can't eat this, and you can't. I mean, so just understand some of that stuff going in, and have lots of conversations.
Yeah,
have lots of conversations.
Interesting. There's a friend of mine who is devout Catholic, and she's dating someone who is not any of the above, and she's younger. And I was talking to her recently about it, and because I was telling her, I'm like, it doesn't change when you get married. It's either so when you're dating,
no, it does not.
Yeah, it doesn't. If anything, you get more comfortable when you're married. So whatever it is in the dating, if it's something that would bother you 5 years from now, it's got to be addressed, or it might not be the best. Oh, that rhymes.
You're right.
I'll
Way
tell
to
my
go.
kids that. Yep.
They're gonna make a T-shirt.
Yeah,
with that.
right. Yeah, but that is such a good question, though, because I know we've had questions about dating before, so maybe we need to do an episode on that for all y'all singles out there.
There we go.
Yeah, that would be good.
Do they want to hear dating advice from somebody who's been married 38 years?
Or 9 days.
Or 9 days, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we bring someone on that's been more recent in the
sure.
dating world than us. And I married my high school sweetheart, so I got really lucky.
Yeah.
I know that's not.
Well, I guess we both did, huh?
Yeah. There's something in the water in small towns.
I guess.
I know a lot of happy marriages that came from high school sweethearts.
Yep.
And then some not so much, but
true.
Anyways, great question.
Yeah,
Thanks for sending that in.
Thank you.
Definitely sounds like a continual conversation to be had. Okay, second question. Is it wrong for one people to conquer another? I mean, it's all over the Bible. When one
Yes,
population falls and is conquered by another, is that good for all of mankind? Oftentimes, in the long run, it lifts the conquered up to new heights they were previously unable to attain. I use the Spanish putting a halt to child sacrifice in Aztec Mexico as an example. What's the difference between conquer and liberation? How do we see conflicts between populations through the eyes of the Lord and not fall into tribalism? Dang, that's a good question. That's a good one, because that's something that I feel like Americans are struggling with a lot. We hear the reparations, the Native American stuff. Like it's big emotional topics. So this is such a good question.
I mean, there's lots of pieces and parts of this.
For sure.
This question, that the whole comment about, what's the difference between conquer and liberation? It depends on whether you're the conqueror or the liberator.
So true.
I mean, depends on what side of the fence. Okay,
Yeah, seriously.
with some of that. So, let's just kind of unpack some of this. Is it wrong for one people group to conquer another? Just at a most basic level, that has been going on since the beginning of creation. It was never God's intent. All right. You had Cain and Abel. Cain killed his brother. So this has been going on since the beginning of time. It's part of the brokenness of our humanity, is that we want to have power over anyone that we perceive weaker than us. There's world history. You see it over. It has played out on the world stage since the beginning of creation. That being said, that doesn't mean that God hasn't still used it. God's always larger than our brokenness, and so does he still move his plans forward despite our broken humanity and broken history and the conquering that has gone on between nations over and over? Of course he has. That doesn't justify it. It's just a statement that, yep, that's how it works.
Yep. And I there's a lot of people that have a really sour taste over what you're saying, conquered to convert, because that was in our history as Americans for sure. Conquering and trying to bring in our belief, but that's not just Christians. I mean, that's a lot of different.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we can go back to the Crusades and we can talk about the Christians and the Muslims slaughtering each other in the name of religion. People have always done wrong things in the name of their religion. Mm-hmm. That's part of the brokenness of humanity. If we can get God behind our conquering, woohoo! I mean, now we can we can really go now because God supports us. Okay, so. And I understand we have Old Testament examples that are difficult for us to wrap our minds around in our modern day understanding, in our culture. You have the nation of Israel, and they come out of Egypt, and then you have, the conquering of the Promised Land under Joshua, and you've got the book of Judges and 1 Samuel. I mean, it's some brutal history in the Bible. There's a lot of blood and guts and death, and I mean, it's under the command of God. And there's a whole nother topic that we could
struggle with that right now.
Spend some time on. And again, so we're going to just set that one. Maybe that's another question.
We'll put a pin in it. We'll come back to that one. Yep.
So the other part of this question is, have the conquered been elevated to new levels because of the conqueror coming in and setting new standards? So, absolutely, you really can't deny some of the things that history has done. So, for example, they talked about Aztecs. I'm going to back up the cart a little bit farther. So, when Alexander the Great conquered the known world, basically at that time, one of the things he did, it was called the Hellenization of every people group, which means he brought Greek culture. Had nothing to do with hell. It means they brought Greek culture, Greek language to every place they conquered. And so what he did was, for the first time in history, Alexander the Great, the result, he actually created a universal language. It's almost like now, when you travel the world, you can always find somebody to speak English. I mean, I know that may bug somebody, but English is the universal language. It's not Spanish or any other language. It's English. No matter where I go in the world, I can find English. It's crazy. In fact, every airport around the world has to have English posted. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
So anyway, so Alexander the Great did that. What that did is it improves commerce. It improved trading, because no matter where you're at, you didn't have to learn 39 different languages. All you had to know was Greek, and it became the common language. And then after Alexander the Great came the Romans. Now, the Romans were conquerors. And what Rome did, they loved the Greeks, but they put kind of the Greek understanding on steroids because Rome was all about go big or go home. And so what Rome did, there was already Greek language. Rome came in and brought Roman culture. They brought water systems, they brought sewer systems, they brought more commerce. They built roads everywhere. They were incredible road builders. Nobody built roads like the Romans. And so they developed tens of thousands of miles of road systems throughout the empire. What it did is it just elevated. Were they ruthless? Yes. Does it justify all the people they killed? No. But did it advance culture, commerce, standard of living, opportunity to make money? Absolutely, it did. And that went on, again, for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then when the Roman world fell, when Rome fell and all of that basic technology went away, that's one of the reasons they call it the Dark Ages. For 1,000 years, none of this existed. It was the Dark Ages for a reason. Because now everything fell down into their city states. There wasn't unity. There wasn't unity of power, unity of structure, unity of commerce, and now you fell into this city state feudalism. People were now building castles and protecting their little piece of ground. You had far more carnage. You had poverty. You had peasants. So was that better? So history is very complex. And so, I mean, it's a fascinating question. I don't know if there is a yes or no, right or wrong answer to this. It's just, you just observe history, and it just is. This is what history has done. And so, did the Spanish, were they ruthless in conquering, the Aztecs? Of course they slaughtered people. Did they stop child sacrifice? Yeah. Did they slaughter people to do it? Yeah. I mean, so... is it good? Is it bad? It's both. It's just, yeah.
What are your thoughts, and maybe you have some biblical passages for people thinking that we do need to pay for sins of our past generations?
One, I would say that would be God's job. I would also point out that Scripture talks about the kids not paying for the sins of the father. I mean, you don't execute the kids for the father's sin. You don't punish the generations for the. Now God can do what He wants with generations, and God's the one who's the judge and the justice and all that kind of stuff. So now all of a sudden, things that happened hundreds of years ago, you're going to require reparations from the current generation who had nothing to do with it and no understanding of what took place. I understand. So here's the thing. I think part of being made in the image of God is that there is this craving that all people have for justice. So on the good side of all this stuff, it's good that you want to see justice. That's not a bad thing. I mean, I don't care what political party you are. I don't care whether you're a believer or an unbeliever. I think part of being made in the image of God, God is just, and therefore we're made in His image. That is a characteristic that we share with God, so we crave justice. It's all good. It's just that we're not great at providing it. We are broken and flawed people. And so our understanding of justice, our application of justice, our execution of justice is really going to be flawed. And I think this whole reparations thing is a flawed version of justice. You want justice. That's a good thing. Can you create justice after 200 plus years have gone by? No, you can't. That ship sailed. And now whatever you do will not be fair. It will not create justice. It will be warped. It will be subjective. It will be impossible to navigate and legislate. And it's...
Well, and, this isn't even necessarily biblical, but historically speaking, one book I would highly recommend is anything by Yeonmi Park. She's a North Korean defector. Mm-hmm. And some of the contrasts where America is a little bit on a slippery slope with certain things, specifically this issue, she says, wow, North Korea, after one of the wars that they were involved with, I wish I could remember, I almost want to say World War II, but the government said, oh, everyone that, fought in the war, they're evil and this and that. And so all these generations, if you had a grandfather that fought in the war, you're pretty much cut off. And then if you owned land, you're rich, you're this and that. So immediately, like, you were already on a list, and your family was on this list, just for owning land. And it was the same kind of mentality that we had, or that I've seen a lot of people, especially in my generation, being like, we need to pay back this from past generations, and it just leads to destruction. It leads to it's never salvaged.
Right, and you can't. We need to pay back. Pay back what? Okay, okay. So, did we treat the Native Americans here terribly? Of course we did.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. We need to pay them back. How? See, that's the whole thing. How? What are you going to give them? Manhattan Island back? You're going to give them, Florida back? It's like the ship sailed. So what does justice look like? Okay. I don't know if that is even a possibility. Do they have, so you have other things you're going to have to look at. Do they have opportunity? Are we creating opportunity for people, where there's current justice, there's current fairness, there's current, can they get an education? Can they go to college? Can they get a job? Do they have, equal opportunity? Of course, now it depends on who you talk to. Well, equal opportunity is not equity. Oh, okay, be careful, because
I might get myself in trouble for this, but if you've ever been around a reservation, which is, very protected, and they are given money. They're given money every month. There is tons of alcohol. There's abuse. It's not this. It reminds me of what it would be like if we were all reliant on the government. You don't have anything to work for other than you just get your check every month. You're gonna drink. You're gonna do this because you steal people's dreams by just giving too much. There's nothing wrong with help, and I'm all for it in the right circumstances. We don't want to see children go hungry.
Right.
We want to help widows. We want to all those things that are definitely biblical. People's hearts are in the right place, but you have to look at the systems that we've already tried and are in place today, and are they really helping those people? And the answer is no. There's not.
No.
It's not a good area to be in.
And I think, yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
No. I just think that some people want to go back to something you can't go back to. Again, all these questions about, wouldn't it have been better if we would just left all these cultures alone? It's an unanswerable question. You can't answer it because we didn't leave the cultures alone. The history is all about conquerors, and the conquered. It just is. That is world history. It just is. Well, it shouldn't be. Well, so what? It just is. It's continuing to do that. Mm-hmm. It's playing out right now. You got Russia. You got Ukraine. You got you got people over in the Congo being massacred. You always have the powerful taking advantage of the weak. That's the brokenness of humanity. And which you want to fix it? There is only one person who can fix it, and that's Jesus. It's called the gospel. Because the heart of man is deceitful, women too. The heart of man is deceitful above all else, and it is incurably wicked. That is Jeremiah 17:9. That is the problem with humanity. So you think that, well, if we just provided justice, it would all go away. It will never go away. We are severely broken people. And so you'll never move away. We will never evolve out of brokenness. We have proven that. Man is not evolving and getting better. Mankind is not. No matter how much technology you throw at us, we are still just broken people, still taking advantage of other people. There is world history right there. It takes place every day in your own neighborhood. Those of you that are critical and you're judgmental of all this justice stuff, how often do you take advantage of someone who doesn't have what you have? Oh, I would never. Oh, really? Look in the mirror. We are broken people, and if we have an advantage, most people usually take it. So,
yeah, we're good at justifying why we take it.
Oh, too. I know. So it's just be careful, because it's easy to be the judge than the jury on this stuff.
And you've traveled way more than me, but I would challenge people that get really mad at America for our history. I don't know any other country that has as redemptive of a story historically as America. We didn't have another country come in and help us get rid of slavery. we did it ourselves. We turned on each other, and half of us fought for, what we thought was right, and the other half fought for what they thought was right, and justice prevailed there.
Yeah.
And then civil rights, we didn't have another country come in and help us with civil rights and really learning how to accept other people that are different.
Right.
And that we didn't have any help. That was us. That was America. You look at other countries, and most people do look the same in the other countries. America is a total melting pot.
That's right.
We accept other cultures, and yes, we do have an American culture of patriotism. We like freedom.
But that's a philosophy. It's a belief system.
Yes.
American culture is a belief system. It's not ethnicity.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. So you have, you've got Mexican culture here. We have the Asian culture.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of everything. And yes, you're always going to have racist people because, again, like exactly what you're just saying, brokenness, but it's not the majority in America, I would argue to say.
No, it's not. So, the American experiment, as it was called, is not a perfect system, but it is still the best system on planet Earth. It is why people still want to come here in droves. It is the most sought after country to come to on the planet for a reason. And again, I think if people could travel more outside the U.S., they would have a different perspective. But
yeah,
I wish I could take people to different places. Well, I'm trying to.
Yeah. Yeah. Shameless plug here. Go to Israel with PD.
Go to Israel PD. Come on, October 2026. We are going. Come on. You need to come with me if you can. Get your
Trip
deposit
of a
in.
lifetime.
Yep. You want some information? Contact the church.
Yep.
There you go. I'll stop right there.
We'll put in a little
Yeah, we will.
clip right here.
Being on site changes everything. You can look at pictures and you can watch videos of a specific place, but until you're actually there, you really can't experience it in full. This is especially true when you get the opportunity to go to Israel. And we are going to do just that. I'm taking a group of people with me to Israel on October 13th through October 22nd, 2026. Can you imagine being in Israel? Can you imagine walking the streets of Jerusalem? Can you just even imagine being at the Sea of Galilee, walking on the Sea of Galilee? In fact, taking a boat trip on the Sea of Galilee. What if you could actually see the ancient city gates of the town of Dan in northern Israel? What if you could actually be in the places where some of those Old Testament stories took place, where some of you have heard since childhood? It takes these stories from black and white to 3D. You're going to get that opportunity. I would love to take you to Israel. All the information that you need is below. Secure your spot now. All right.
Yep. Okay, last question, then we'll wrap this up. How can I stay focused when I'm trying to spend time with God? I struggle with staying focused when I'm trying to spend time with God praying or even just talking with him. My mind tends to quickly change what I'm thinking about. I tell myself stories a lot, and it is now automatic for my mind to start telling a story and forget that I was praying. I did not write this, but this is me. Like whoever you are that wrote this, like, are you in my head too? Great question. Yeah. How do you stay? This might be just more of a logistical one, but give us some tips on how to stay focused. And
Hey, well, first of all, common problem. Great question. You're not alone.
obviously.
Well, I think it's common. That's why I really appreciate the question. I think that people do struggle. Most people struggle. All people struggle at times trying to stay focused, whether you're doing a devotional time with God. Now, the question, I don't have the question in front of me, so were they talking about simply praying?
I struggle with staying focused when I'm trying to spend time with God praying or just talking with him.
Sure.
My mind tends to quickly change what I'm thinking about.
Yes. So part of this is a little bit of the neuroscience behind it. Okay, part of these are habits. Habits are neurological pathways, and so you literally can train your mind to do things. And so to give you some hope, it does take some practice. So there are some things that you can do to keep your mind from wandering. Now, I don't know, when you pray, sometimes I have very, very structured prayer times. Sometimes I have unstructured prayer times. What does that mean? Well, sometimes I'm driving. That's a conversation. I'm processing. I process a lot with God. I process my feelings and stuff that's going on, and so those are unstructured times. Then there's times where, I have lists. I have things I pray for. It's not unspiritual to have a list because that helps you stay on track. So I don't know if you can simply create a list. What are you praying for? Be structured in your prayers. So okay. For example, I pray for myself. Don't forget yourself. I mean, it is you and God. He cares about you. Do you pray about yourself? What's going on? Your needs, your struggles? Do you pray? I'm married. I pray for Lisa. I pray for my spouse. I pray for my kids. I pray for my son-in-laws. I pray for my grandkids. Okay. I pray for the church. I pray for the staff. I pray for the team. I pray for you, Katie. I pray. I go through, the ministries at Foothills. I go through my responsibilities. Why do I pray for those things? Well, those are my roles. This is what I do. This is my calling. So I have a lot of structured things that I pray for. We invite people to write down prayer requests at the church, and so there's this sheet of the prayer requests, and I pray for the people who ask for prayer. So those are very, very structured things. The more structure I have, the easier it is to keep my mind focused. As you're developing that habit, it still may be a struggle, but you have a list in front of you. I would encourage you to write it out, type it out, whatever. Have the list in front of you. It will help you stay focused. Now, another thing that you can do is, again, and as you keep doing that, your mind, you'll develop some neurological pathways that will, pretty soon, your mind will stay in that neurological rut. And
It's a great idea.
It won't jump out of it as much.
Yeah.
So if somebody ever told you that lists are not spiritual, they're wrong. Lists are good. They help you develop habits. So, and then you have maybe a certain time of the day at night when you're going to step into that structured prayer time. Another thing that I've done too that has been helpful is, for me, sometimes the wandering might be a little different. Is I'm praying, and then my mind keeps wanting to jump out of that, and it thinks about what I have to do that day, or what I have to do tomorrow, or what the next thing is. Oh, I forgot about that. I got to remember to do that. Well, that just totally blows up my prayer time, because now my mind's processing what I want to do or I need to do, and I need to be talking to God. And so one of the ways that helped me is that when I'm having my prayer time, I keep a little pad next to me with something, you could use your phone, you could use your iPad. I like pen and paper sometimes. So as I'm praying, that thought will pop into my head of something I need to take care of. I simply write it down on that pad, and then my mind can let go of it. I don't have to try to remember it, because I already wrote it down. Okay, Lord, I'm back. We keep praying again. Oh, something else popped in my head. I write it down, then I can go back. It helps me stay focused.
Yeah,
there's a couple little simple things to practice.
I'm going to have to try that, because my current system is I always write out before bed, like, all the things I was grateful for within that day, and then just whatever comes to mind. But I forget a lot of things, and I'm tired at that point. So I think you're spot on with picking a good time. And then
a good time.
I live by lists. So I don't know why I wouldn't think of that with prayer. That's a great idea.
I don't know. I think it doesn't feel spiritual. It is spiritual. Okay, you make a list of the things that are important in your life right now that you want to make sure you bring God into those conversations. And so, make a list. Make a list of the people in your life. Make a list of the stresses in your life. Make a list of and then pretty soon that list will become imprinted. You won't even need to look at it anymore. It will just be. I mean, my head I have certain core things that I always pray for. That list is in my head. I can rip that off at any time. But that's a deep neurological pathway that's been practiced for a long time.
We got some starting to do, my friend.
So there you go.
I'm there with you, though. But no, that's so good. Great advice. Well, thanks, PD. I can't think of anything else unless you can.
No, I go back to my Israel plug.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people listening to this.
Yeah.
Listen, I got to tell you something. If you do have an opportunity to go to Israel, it'll be life-changing. I know people talk about once-in-a-lifetime experiences. This could be one for you. It's October 2026. And yes, it's a lot of money to go to Israel. It'll be over $5,000. Everything's provided for you. But, if the experiences of seeing the stories that maybe you have read and been exposed to, for some of us since childhood, there's nothing like being on site. I mean, I can't even describe that to you until you're there. You'll understand when you're there. And it might even be a very surreal experience to, walk the same place that Jesus walked, touch the same things. I mean, walk the same street, be on archaeological sites that stories that you were told when you were in Sunday school or Bible school or when you were a child. And now these stories become very, very real. And so I encourage you that if you can, think about doing that, get the information, contact the church. We'll put some kind of a link here on somewhere where you can get more information. But strongly just encourage you to consider that. Pray and say, Lord, I would love to go and get your deposit in. And you got a whole year to raise the money, but it really will be a life-changing experience for you. So there you go.
So cool.
All
right, guys. We'll be back next week. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Keep sending us questions.
Send us those questions. Put us in your group chat. We're watching. We have bad blood if you don't share. We'll be back. See you guys later.
Bye now.